Today we're going to be taking a look at the Chevy Colorado cluster. This is also going to be very similar to the Canyon and the Hummer H3. Now this customer wants to go with red LEDs, but he also said he was having trouble with the mile per hour gauge randomly reading off. So we're going to look into that too. Now keep in mind the Colorado cluster really doesn't share much at all in common with its full-size counterparts. Now with this cluster, I'm going to power it up. And as you saw there, the mile per hour was doing its own little thing. This cluster will not fully power on if it does not see a serial bus signal, unlike a full size, which will still power up without it. This one must see a serial bus, so I'm going to connect that up there, and you see it just fully booted on. We got a display now, and other dummy lights and stuff come on and whatnot. And if I turn off the lights, you can see the backlight is also on without the serial bus connection. This is all you get. You don't get the other indicators. The reason why the check engine light and blinkers are on, because those are they're the only analog hardwired signal this cluster has. Everything else is done through the serial bus, even the backlighting. So there it is with the signal. It wakes up. And even the, I was going to say the temp gauge looked off, but no, it's actually reading my tester. So there I can operate the temp and fuel. If you're hearing some racket in the background, it's just these assholes over here. Got the tail flick going on because they're fighting. Knock it off, you two. Yeah. Now here is the mile per hour stepper motor. This is one we were having trouble with. These motors are not compatible with the X27s like the full-size GM products use, but that's okay because it's not usually the stepper motor that fails. It's just the solder joint. And if we take a look here, I do see some rings around it. Let me put this up under the microscope so you can see what I'm talking about. Here you can see a ring around that solder joint for this stepper motor, and this one here is starting to get a little ring around it too. But we're just going to go ahead and reflow all of the stepper motor solder joints. Next up, to swap out the white LEDs for red. Now it looks like all the backlighting LEDs are these ones with a yellow phosphor layer here. I'm going to plug it in a second and make sure, but it looks like these are all the backlighting LEDs here. There's one random one here. I'm not sure what that guy's doing there, but we'll find out. I'm just going to plug it in and see what all is for the backlighting. And I'm going to approach changing the white. Oh, it does light up with the backlight. What the heck does that do? What does that even light up? Let's see. Because it's kind of off to the side here. Is it just for the... What does that do? There's like a little... Oops. Trying not to get my fingerprints all over it while keeping that trip button from falling out. It looks like it's right here, which just lights up. Oh, there's a little light tube in there. Okay, they got fancy on us. Yeah, it just runs off to a light tube and does things. Anyways, okay, so that one, this one is also going to be changed to red. And I'm going to do the red cautiously because red LEDs have a pretty different operating voltage than white LEDs. So if it gives me trouble, that is why. As long as the LED circuit is set up to regulate current instead of voltage, it shouldn't be a problem. I don't think it'll be a problem. So let's go ahead. Start swapping LEDs. These are look like standard 3528, so it should be a pretty straightforward LED swap. Here I've marked the negative side of each backlighting LED. The circuit board's not marked, so you really gotta kind of pay attention to that before you remove the LEDs, but there are the negative sides. Now to go ahead and start swapping. With all 7 of the old white LEDs removed, it's now time to install the new red LEDs. The customer did mention he first brought the truck to the dealership and they were able to confirm the problem was in the cluster, but they said there was a nationwide back order on the clusters and nobody anywhere could get one. So I asked him if anyone brought up the option of installing a used one. He said yes, but none of the techs there knew how to program it. So that's where we are here today with this cluster. All right, all 7 LEDs have been swapped for red. Let's make sure they're gonna work. And power. Hey, they do work good. There they are. Red, 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 red. Okay. Looks good. I think I feel confident now I can wash this board up and get ready for reassembly. Here's the board after a good 91% ISO bath. I do use a non-corrosive flux in both the solder and the flux tube. So technically you don't have to wash it, but I do like to wash off all of my Sharpie prints and flux goobers and stuff. I like the board to look original as possible when I'm done. We'll take a quick peek at this board. It's a very simple board. Everything's kind of compacted down. So we'll start off with the EEPROM here. I don't know if I can get the number in view. I'll just list the number down below in the description if anyone cares. EEPROM's separate from the microcontroller, which is nice. This little guy here is just a 5-volt voltage regulator. This, since it's next to this inductor, this is going to be the transceiver. Pretty much every single GM cluster has this little, I think it's a 470 marked inductor. Anyways, it's always for the serial bus, so this would be the transceiver here. And that's about it. Everything else is kind of done through the microcontroller. It drives the stepper motors and takes care of all the dummy light LEDs and whatnot. So it's a very simple board. Backside has nothing. All right, time to put it back together. To reseat the needles, I'm going to take away the serial bus signal so that way all of the needles go to the home position when it's powered up. Right now it's powered up in the off position, but it did zero out the stepper motors. So then these can just be placed at the beginning home locations. And I'm being very careful to not push the needle down so far that it bottoms out on the face and drags, because then you're going to have issues. And gas, like the other vehicles GM makes, you're going to want that to start just a titch below the empty mark. But all the others will be at their standard stop position. Okay, looks good. Now, if you're going to be doing this yourself, or if this is your first time, or if you're new at cluster repair, I'd recommend to just wear gloves when handling the face of the cluster. Once you get fingerprints in that textured matte black face, it's pretty tough to get fingerprints back out. They're just kind of there forever. No matter how hard you try to clean it, it just gets smudged and looks worse. So either don't touch the face or wear gloves. So there it is. Looks pretty good in red. The customer did state the vehicle's red, so this will look nice in a red truck. And also that one odd LED that was off to the side with a light tube, that just lights up the prindle, it looks like. So that's all that is. So now that's in red also. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this repair yourself, I will have my email in the description below. You can contact me for a quote. And don't worry about the cats. They're friends again. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next time.